The Morrison family reunion happened every summer at Grandpa's estate in Connecticut. 3 days of relatives comparing careers, judging lifestyle choices and pretending we all liked each other. I'd been there for 6 hours and already heard about Uncle Mike's VP promotion, Cousin Jennifer's law firm partnership, and Cousin Brandon's director-level position at Procter Gamble. Corporate success runs in this family, Uncle Mike announced to the assembled crowd at lunch. We're executives, professionals, achievers. That's the Morrison way. Everyone nodded approvingly. Except me. Tyler, what are you doing these days? Aunt Susan asked with forced interest. Still doing that computer thing? Software, I said. Yes. He's been doing the software thing for 7 years now, Uncle Mike said, that edge in his voice he reserved for family disappointments. Never seems to amount to much, does it, Tyler? It amounts to something, I said quietly. Working from home isn't real work, Uncle Mike continued, warming to his theme. No office, no colleagues, no structure. You're 31 years old. You should have a career by now. A real position with a real company. I have a company, I said. A startup, Cousin Jennifer translated dismissively. We all know about startups, Tyler. 90% fail. The ones that survive barely break even. It's not the same as building a real career. Jennifer made partner at Henderson & Klein this year, Aunt Susan said proudly. Youngest female partner in the firm's history. That's accomplishment. That's what we celebrate in this family. Everyone applauded Jennifer. She smiled modestly. Brandon's been at P&G for 8 years, Uncle Mike added. Steady progression. Associate to senior, associate to manager to director. That's a career trajectory. That's the Morrison way. More nodding. More approval. Tyler just sits at home on his laptop, Cousin Brandon said. No trajectory. No progression. Just existing. I'm not just existing, I said. Then what are you doing? Uncle Mike challenged. Specifically. Because from where we're sitting, it looks like you're wasting your prime earning years on a hobby that doesn't pay bills. My bills are paid, I said. By what? Your parents. Brandon smirked. By my company's revenue, I said evenly. Uncle Mike laughed. Revenue? It's cute. What's your annual revenue, Tyler? 10,000? 20,000? Before I could answer, my phone vibrated. Text from my executive assistant. Board meeting moved up to 3 p.m. Helicopter ETA 2:47 p.m. to Grandpa's estate. Can you be ready? I checked my watch. 2:31 p.m. 16 minutes. Me, confirmed. I'll be at the South Lawn. Tyler, are you on your phone during lunch? Grandma asked disapprovingly. Sorry, I said. Work emergency. I need to take a call in a few minutes. A work emergency on Saturday, Uncle Mike said sarcastically. Let me guess. Your startup's website went down? Something like that, I said. Cousin Jennifer leaned forward. Tyler, I'm saying this with love. You need to face reality. The tech dream is over. You're not going to be Mark Zuckerberg. It's time to get a real job. I could ask around at some corporate legal departments. I don't need a job, I said. Everyone needs a job, Jennifer said patiently. Unless you're independently wealthy, which you're not. How do you know I'm not? I asked. Brandon laughed. Because you drive a 6-year-old Toyota and live in a 1-bedroom apartment. No offense, but it's obvious. I drive a Toyota because it's reliable, I said. I live in a 1-bedroom because I'm rarely home. Where else would you be? Aunt Susan asked, confused. Traveling, I said. For work. I spend about 200 days a year in other cities. Couch surfing isn't traveling, Uncle Mike said. Tyler, you need structure. You need management. You need someone to hold you accountable. That's what real jobs provide. My phone vibrated again. Helicopter airborne. ETA 14 minutes. Meeting agenda uploaded to your tablet. Excuse me, I said, standing up. I really do need to take this call. It's lunch, Grandma protested. Can't your little startup wait? Unfortunately, no, I said. This is a board meeting with our institutional investors. They don't reschedule. I walked out before anyone could respond. I went to the South Lawn, a massive stretch of manicured grass at the back of Grandpa's estate, far enough from the house that the helicopter noise wouldn't be overwhelming. At 2:45 p.m., I heard the distinctive thump of rotor blades. The Sikorsky Is-76 came in low over the trees, black with silver accents, the Nextcore Solutions logo visible on the side. My company's helicopter, one of two we owned for executive transport. It touched down smoothly on the grass. The pilot, Rebecca, gave me a thumbs up through the window. I jogged over, ducked under the spinning blades and climbed in. "Good afternoon, Mr. Morrison," Rebecca said through the headset. "Flight time to Manhattan is 42 minutes. Mr. Patel said the board is gathering now." "Perfect timing," I said, settling into the leather seat. Through the helicopter's window I could see figures emerging from the house. Uncle Mike, Brandon, Jennifer, others. All staring at the helicopter on Grandpa's lawn. I waved. The helicopter lifted off. I'd founded Nextcore Solutions 7 years ago, fresh out of MIT with a computer science PhD and a thesis on distributed computing architecture. I'd identified a critical inefficiency in how enterprises managed cloud infrastructure. Too complex, too expensive, too fragile. I'd built a solution. An AI-powered platform that automated cloud resource allocation, reducing costs by 40% while improving reliability by 60%. Started with 2 clients, then 10, then 50, then Fortune 500 companies. Last year Nextcore did $340 million in revenue. This year we were tracking toward $520 million. Our last funding round, Series D, valued the company at $3.8 billion. My personal stake, 42%. Worth approximately $1.6 billion on paper. I had 680 employees across 8 global offices. I had blue-chip clients like JP Morgan, Microsoft, and Deutsche Bank. I had a board of directors that included former CEOs of IBM and Oracle. And I had a family that thought I was wasting time on a hobby. Because I'd stopped trying to explain it to them. 5 years ago at Christmas I'd mentioned raising $50 million in Series B funding. Uncle Mike had said, "That sounds made up, Tyler." 3 years ago at Thanksgiving I'd mentioned Forbes putting me on their 30 under 30 list. Aunt Susan had said, "Those lists don't mean anything." 2 years ago at Easter I'd casually mentioned Nextcore's $200 million revenue milestone. Brandon had said, "Revenue isn't profit. Anyone can claim revenue numbers." Eventually I'd stopped mentioning anything. Let them think whatever they wanted. It was easier than fighting for validation from people who'd already decided I was failing. The helicopter landed on the Manhattan heliport at 3:29 p.m. A company car took me to our headquarters, the top 12 floors of a building in Midtown. I walked into the boardroom at 3:43 p.m. 10 people around the table. My co-founder and CTO Raj Patel, our CFO, our COO, and 7 board members representing our major investors. "Tyler," Raj said. "Thanks for making it. How was Connecticut?" "Educational," I said, taking my seat. "Let's get started." The board meeting ran until 6:30 p.m. We discussed Q3 projections, the European expansion, and preliminary conversations with 3 potential acquisition targets. "One more item," said Margaret Chin, our lead board member and former CEO of IBM. "We've had preliminary inquiries about taking the company public." "IPO timeline?" I asked. 18 to 24 months, Margaret said. "Goldman Sachs projects we could go public at a $7 billion valuation. That would make you, Tyler, a paper billionaire several times over." "Assuming the market cooperates," I said. "Assuming the market cooperates," Margaret agreed. "But your fundamentals are strong. Nextcore is profitable, growing, and essential to client operations. You're IPO ready when you decide to pull the trigger." After the meeting, Raj found me in my office. "You flying back to Connecticut?" he asked. "No," I said. "I'm staying in the city. I have dinner with the Deutsche Bank CTO tomorrow. They're considering expanding their contract." "Your family know you're not coming back?" "They'll figure it out," I said. Raj grinned. "Still giving you grief about the startup thing?" "Always," I said. "You should tell them," Raj said. "Just put it all out there. You're a billionaire, Tyler. You run a company that's about to IPO. You employ hundreds of people. They should know." "They had 7 years to ask," I said. "They chose mockery instead." My phone rang. "Grandpa, Tyler, what in God's name was that helicopter doing on my lawn?" "Company helicopter," I said. I had a board meeting in Manhattan. Sorry for the short notice. Company helicopter, Grandpa repeated slowly. Tyler, what company? Nextcore Solutions, I said. The software company I founded 7 years ago. The startup thing? It's not really a startup anymore, I said. We're a $3.8 billion enterprise software company with 680 employees and offices in 8 countries. Long silence. Tyler, is this a joke? No, sir. I'm the founder and We provide cloud infrastructure optimization for Fortune 500 companies. Last year we did $340 million in revenue. $340 million? Yes, sir. And the helicopter? We own 2. Executives use them for regional travel. It's faster than commercial flights for short distances. Another long silence. Why didn't you say something at lunch? Grandpa asked quietly. I tried, I said. Uncle Mike told me I was wasting time. Jennifer offered to help me find a real job. Brandon mocked my apartment. Nobody wanted to hear about my work. They'd already decided I was failing. Tyler. I need to go, Grandpa, I said. I have work in the morning. Tell everyone I'm sorry I couldn't stay for the rest of the reunion. I hung up. 2 hours later my phone exploded. Uncle Mike. Tyler, Grandpa told us about your company. Is this real? Cousin Jennifer. I just Googled Nextcore Solutions. You're the CEO? You're actually the CEO? Brandon. Dude, your company is worth billions? Why didn't you tell us? Aunt Susan. Tyler, honey, we had no idea you were so successful. We're so proud. I ignored them all and went to bed. Sunday morning, I woke up to 37 missed calls and 62 text messages. I responded to none of them. Instead, I had breakfast at my hotel, reviewed the Deutsche Bank proposal, and took a meeting with my executive team about the European office expansion. At 2 p.m., Grandpa called again. I answered. Tyler, your uncle wants to apologize, Grandpa said. They all do. Can you come back? Just for a few hours. I'm in Manhattan, I said. I have work tomorrow. Please, Grandpa said. As a favor to me. I sighed. Fine. I'll helicopter back this afternoon. At 4:15 p.m., the Sikorsky touched down on Grandpa's south lawn again. The entire family was waiting outside. I walked across the lawn toward them. Uncle Mike looked pale. Jennifer looked embarrassed. Brandon wouldn't meet my eyes. Tyler, Uncle Mike started, I owe you an enormous apology. I said terrible things about your work. I dismissed your career. I had no idea. You had every opportunity to know, I interrupted. I mentioned fundraising rounds, revenue milestones, client acquisitions. You called it made up. You said it didn't amount to much. We didn't understand, Aunt Susan said. You work from home. You dress casually. It didn't look like success. Success doesn't always look like corner offices and business suits, I said. Sometimes it looks like code written at 2 a.m. Sometimes it looks like video calls with clients in Tokyo. Sometimes it looks like a one-bedroom apartment because you're traveling 200 days a year building a billion-dollar company. Jennifer stepped forward. Tyler, I offered you a job. An entry-level corporate legal position. I was trying to help you get a real career and you already had a real career, I finished. I'm the CEO of a company worth $3.8 billion. I employ 680 people. I have clients on 6 continents. My career is more real than yours, Jennifer. It's just different. That's not fair, Jennifer protested. Neither is spending 7 years telling me to get a real job while I was building an empire, I said. But here we are. Brandon cleared his throat. For what it's worth, we're impressed. Nextcore's technology is industry-leading. I actually recommended it to P&G's IT department last year. I had no idea you'd built it. You recommended my company? I asked. Yeah, Brandon said. Our CTO was looking at cloud optimization platforms. I suggested Nextcore. They went with a competitor, but it was a close decision. You recommended a company you thought was a failing startup, I said. That's either very generous or very stupid. I didn't know it was your company, Brandon said. I just knew Nextcore was the best product in the space. So you trusted the technology but not the person who built it, I said. Interesting. Uncle Mike tried again. Tyler, what can we do? How do we make this right? I looked at all of them. At the people who'd mocked my work for 7 years. Who'd told me to get a real job while I was revolutionizing enterprise software. Who'd assumed I was failing because my success didn't look like theirs. You can't make it right, I said. You can acknowledge you were wrong. You can apologize. You can stop judging people's careers based on whether they wear suits to an office. But you can't undo 7 years of dismissal. Are you going to cut us off? Aunt Susan asked, tears forming. No, I said. Your family. I love you. But our relationship has changed. You'll have to earn back respect you lost. Grandpa spoke up. Tyler's right. We judged him without evidence. We mocked him without understanding. That's on us. I have to go, I said, checking my watch. I have a dinner meeting in Manhattan at 7. Will you come back? Grandma asked. To next year's reunion? Maybe, I said. If I'm not traveling for work. I walked back to the helicopter. As I climbed in, I saw Uncle Mike talking to Grandpa. Jennifer wiping her eyes. Brandon staring at his phone, probably Googling Nextcore for the 10th time. The helicopter lifted off. Through the window I watched them get smaller. Watched Grandpa's estate shrink beneath me. Watched the people who'd spent 7 years telling me to get a real job finally understand that I already had one. 6 months later. Nextcore Solutions announced our IPO. Initial valuation, $6.8 billion. My personal shares, $2.4 billion. Uncle Mike sent a card. Congratulations on your success. We should have believed in you sooner. Jennifer sent flowers, proud to have such an accomplished cousin. Brandon sent a bottle of champagne, to the next generation of Morrison success. I acknowledged all of them politely. But I didn't forget. They wanted me to stop wasting time online to get structure to build a real career. I did all of that. I just did it my way. And when they finally saw what I'd built, they couldn't dismiss it anymore. That's not revenge. It's just growth.